Hi everybody, this is a blue and red Arcane Bombardment deck. We're hoping to reuse all of our early game spells, in particular things like C Double to let us copy creatures, and Confounding Riddle to let us find more things to do and counter key spells from our opponent. We've got a fun copy of Ovika there on the top end, and Chandra to help copy some spells. You'll see in some of these early games I have a copy of Alchemist's Gambit. I soon took that out as it was just a little too situational for what we were trying to do. But I will say, the last couple of games in this video got pretty out of hand and pretty interesting. We had to kind of make some solutions work, and they kind of didn't turn out the way I was expecting, so I hope you enjoy those. Anyway, let's go over and see some games with this deck over on the ranked standard ladder. All right, let's see what we can do with this here. Looks pretty good, actually. We've kind of got the beginning of our game plan right up to the end of the game plan. Just need to kind of fill in the spots in the middle. See, our opponent's a master of self-deprecation here, leading off with Commune with Spirits. You see the Jukai Naturalist. This will likely be green-white enchantments that we're up against, so we can expect, as far as problems for us, things like Borrowed Time. Really going to be the only threats to our Arcane Bombardment. Let's Lightning Strike this Naturalist, slow them down a bit so that they don't start dumping out things onto the board really quickly. We don't really have our board wipes in hand right now and don't really have any way to find them. Yeah, that's kind of the board I was afraid of. So Naturalist loves to spew out Spirited Companions right behind it, which of course enables all the removal that comes after. Since they get to draw into cards they might not have started with. Okay, opponent playing some more lands. Okay, a cheap Hallowed Haunting. This is a great target for our Negate. Really been enjoying playing one copy of Negate in some of our decks lately. Let's take care of this other Naturalist. And let's, okay, Restless Spire, Scries. Tough to keep some of these abilities straight. Alright, there's Alchemist's Gambit off the top. Well, we're not casting that for sure. Let's try to get the Scry off of the Spire, especially now since opponent's not going to be able to remove it, and we're not going to go down a land, excuse me, from some opponent removal. Land number 5, Catilda. Catilda's got some nice explosive late game power. But not right now. We've been able to kind of contain this board a little bit. Let's fire up the Spire and just see. I kind of doubt they've got anything for this, but I'd like to scry one more time. Ooh, I think we can keep Burn Down the House on the top. Yep. Likely no blocks here. I don't think there's any kind of flash enchantment they can put in. At least that is commonly played by this deck. Dropping our opponent to 16 with that attack. Opponent outranking me. I'm playing a little bit of catch up on the ladder this season. Taking some time off at the end of December, as one does. Alright, we draw the Burn Down the House. We've got land number 6 with Otawara here. I'm going to go for Chandra. They've suspiciously been holding on to a couple of cards, so let's try to clear up this board. At least, yeah, let's go for 3. I don't know, I have the sneaking suspicion that they can protect these. No? Okay. So those go down. This way, if Borrowed Time is in hand, we lose Chandra and not kind of our main game plan of the deck. If Chandra lives, we've got Alchemist's Gambit here to take 2 turns if we draw an untapped land off the top, or if we just want to use Chandra's mana ability. Alright, that's a second copy of Catilda being played from hand. Michiko's Reign of Truth. Gonna try to pump this creature up and take care of Chandra. Well, tell you what we're gonna do. We didn't draw an untapped land. Let's get some extra mana from Chandra. That's gonna let us play Gambit for the cleave cost of 7. Chandra's gonna double that version up, so now we've got 2 extra turns in the hopper. And we can go ahead and play Xander's Lounge. Move on over to extra turn number 1. Chandra, give us a little bit of mana to play with. Let's go ahead and get Bombardment going. Just 1 mana shy being able to play this Burn Down the House, so let's get in with the Restless Spire, go attacking. Ooh, yes. So Spire scries into a nice Lightning Strike, we'll keep that on top. Opponent thinking about blocking, but goes against it. Bringing our opponent back down to 16. Alright, let's burn down the house. Let's choose Devils, because I don't want to hurt Chandra. And Chandra's going to give us extra Devils anyway. We pick up a Play with Fire out of the yard. Let's point that at Catilda. Excellent. So kind of keeping the board a little bit clear here. Open for our Devils to attack, and nothing for the Reign of Truth to give its bonus to. Also no creatures for our opponent to put those Catildas that are in the graveyard onto. Let's get Chandra to dig through here. Alright, good. We've got a couple of instants. Might try to use these instead of Lightning Strike. We'll kind of see what our opponent does here. Alright, so they have to give that bonus from Reign of Truth to one of the Devils, and opponent scoops it up. Alright, good game. Alright, back here with another one. Kind of feast or famine with this deck today. Either get all the low stuff, all the high stuff, none of the mids. I'll take 1 C double though. Kind of a later game spell. Usually not one of the first things I play on turn 4. We have quite the impressive top end in hand. Let's see if we can live to get there. Opponent on what looks to be some form of mono black. Dross Pit's probably in there for the card draw. Okay. Well, let's go with the Xander's Lounge. I get the sense we're going to be playing every land out of our hand, so no need to hold that for the scry right now. And opponent's got the Graveyard Trespasser. Enemy of arcane bombardments everywhere. Nothing for them to eat right now, though. Alright, well, we've got a Fires of Victory in hand. We've got a very expensive hand. I think we're going to target that. In order to do that, let's discard Ovika. We're a long ways off from playing that card. And most likely black is going to have a way to deal with it once we get there. So let's not get too precious with it right now. Opponent with land number 5. Cruelty of Gix. So they can make us discard a Planeswalker. Oh. We can copy this. And it's read ahead. Yes. So, yeah, we need to choose mode 3 just to preempt in case they choose mode 3, because we've got Ovika in the yard. And opponent chooses mode 1. I wonder if they got to choose after seeing what we were able to do there. At any rate, let's big score. We've got a turn, what is this, turn 5 Ovika online, making some goblins. And just a casual attack for 10 here. Alright, now Ovika does have ward, but with this search ability from Cruelty, opponent's likely to be able to find just the removal they need for this. So I'm not really confident we're going to stick it around. Gix's command, yeah, that's going to do it. That'll take care of the little goblins too. Goblins go away, have to sacrifice Ovika. Alright, well, opponent's going to probably reanimate that from our yard. I think what we need to do here... Yep, we kind of need to push towards our endgame a little quicker. We can probably survive like 1 turn with Ovika on the board. Kind of nasty that they get to play that for free, though, and still have, 6 mana available to cast spells. Although, they don't have Invoke Despair like they used to. Oh, Cruelty. Alright, well, that's quite a thing to play there. They started on chapter 1, so we're going to say goodbye to Chandra. Opponent going to hit us for 5 with these hasty goblins. Okay. Not the greatest, but certainly not the worst. I'm not giving up yet. We do have some spells down here to work with Arcane Bombardment. Let's go play with fire to their face. We know that'll put them to 5. Let's see what Bombardment picks up for us. Alright, big score. Let's get rid of Confounding Riddle to cast that. 2 lands off the top. Land number 3, we'll put that on the bottom with the Play with Fire Scry. Really trying to dig for some burn here to see if we can't cheat our way out of this game. And we get land number 4 off the top. Alright, well let's cycle Xander's Lounge. That'll leave us with at least 4 mana to play with. We get a spell. Okay, and we've got a guaranteed big score under Bombardment, so let's play this right now. Guarantee take them to 3. Play with fire. Alright, let's go big score first. Let's get rid of the tap land here in Restless Spire. Play with fire again at our opponent. Another Bombardment off the top. I don't think we need the backup copy. We really need that burn to finish this game. Oh, and we found it. I think we got it, especially because our opponent is setting up to tutor on their next turn with Cruelty. Let's fire off this Lightning Strike. And we got there. We got there. What a crazy back and forth with Cruelty. That was great. Good game. Okay, let's keep this. This is kind of what I was expecting with this deck. Some 1-drops and some 3-drops. We'll start off with the Coast. Opponent looks to be on some black and green, so likely to be kind of a grindy matchup. Opponent may have several answers for Arcane Bombardment, our win condition. So we might have to lean on Chandra a little bit here. Do a little pump fake with Baral here in hand. Mosswood Dread Knight. Pretty standard for black and green so far. Let's hold off on playing our creature for now. We've got 2 Confounding Riddle in hand, and this is a great turn for our opponent to play lots of powerful stuff. Like Glissa. Tell you what, let's let Glissa resolve, and we will hit that for 3 damage with Lightning Strike. Keep our Confounding Riddle for something a little bit later. Play Otawara to the board. And so now we're also set up for C double as well. Sheoldred, yep, we're just going to counter that one. We could copy it, but those colors have loads of creature removal, so our copy likely wouldn't stick around, and they would still get to keep theirs. So I think countering it right there is the way to go. Graveyard Trespasser. Well, I'm going to counter that with the Confounding Riddle. Really could use some land drops here. Another Riddle off the top. All right. Well, let's keep this train going. So opponent needs 8 things in their graveyard for C double to really take off, but still not too bad. We'll let them draw with the Dread Knight. They play the second Dread Knight to the board. I think that's okay. We could counter it there and sort of remove one of those Dread Knights from the loop, but kind of need to get some lands here. Oh, it's a good thing we did that too. So Teferi would be fine if we had the lands for him. Yeah, let's go for Teferi. Like we're gonna be able to draw something. Hey, there we go. All right, we just had to clear that blockage out from the top. Yeah, actually, let's go Baral here. We can play with Fire the Dread Knight, buy us a little more time, get a free little monkey here. Opponent's got such a full hand. See if we can't distract him a little bit. We can always play Teferi later, draw some cards with it. And if they use their creature removal on this, There's a go for the throat. Then maybe Teferi's token might be safe. I don't know. Might not be ideal, but it's what we're doing. All right. Yeah, let's go for Teferi right now.
You know, I've always got time to fight.
Let's make a token. No attacks with the monkey. Opponent has a creature land on board that they can flip on. Ooh. Oh, okay. Phyrexian Obliterator from the opponent. Goes right into the tail swipe on our token. That means we're on the hook to sack 2 things. That's not ideal. Let's sacrifice Monkey and Shivan Reef. Okay, well, we got Teferi to draw. The bad news is most of our removal in this deck is damage-based. So we're going to need something here. Let's make a token. All right, we might... Ugh, this is rough. We might be able to catch them with a C double on their creature. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, I don't want to sacrifice anything else. There's got to be a good way out of this. Huh. Or maybe not a good way. All right, let's take that. Teferi, goodbye. Restless Spire, you're out of here. Huh. Okay, a Trespasser. I was kind of hoping they didn't have anything else, but that's fine. So I'm hesitant. There's an outside kind of scenario where C double gets us a couple of our own copies of Phyrexian Obliterator. And we might be able to use Fading Hope and Lightning Strike to actually kind of tempo our opponent out. So they're at 15. We'll drop into 14 with that attack. Let's make some difficult math for our opponent. Let's copy that. So we've got our own Obliterator now. We can't make it fight. We can't Lightning Strike it ourselves because that just makes us sack, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. Let's pass it on back. So our opponent could just try to attack us down, but that's kind of foolish here. They've got a Virtue of Persistence, so they've shrunk it down to Grizzly Bear size. Okay, so they can attack with their bigger creatures. They've got enough lands where they might just throw everything at us. And then just kind of throw some lands away to the sacrifice effect. Opponent thinking about what to do here. Okay. Okay, attacks with the Obliterator and the Dread Knight. Alright, let's go C double now. Try to get a full-size copy of the Obliterator. We're going to block the Dread Knight with ours. We're going to let the big Obliterator through and drop to 9. Alright, so now they have to sack 3 things. They sack the Trespasser. Okay, and they're down to 4 lands. They've got a Dread Knight that they used to draw with. Oh, this could be close. All right. There's Ovika. We're a long ways off from that. Huh. Okay. Let's just go attacking. Our Obliterators are both bigger than the Dread Knight. There's no way they block. We can actually survive an attack from our opponent. So we've got Lightning Strike in hand to take care of the Knight. We've got Fading Hope to take care of either the Obliterator or the creature land. And if we do nothing, we just drop to 1. All right, tell you what, let's go Fires. Hit the Dread Knight and conserve some life. If they've got a Sheoldred, then that would be enough to take us out. But I think this leaves us with enough life to survive whatever damage they can do to us. Okay, dropping a 4. All right, come on. I want to sneak this one in. Opponent plays Dread Knight. Okay. Okay. We are going to bounce Dread Knight end of turn. Okay. Alright, now even if they can remove one of our obliterators, we've got Lightning Strike in hand. Alright, let's go attacking and see what they got. Send them in. You're going in, lads. Alright, what do we got? Opponent's got one go for the throat. That leaves one obliterator. Can't believe we snuck this in there. Lightning Strike to finish our opponent off. What a game. Oh, wow. Good game there. Alright, this is a little slow, but we'll keep it. Got plenty of lands, lots of early game things to do. Start off with a Spire here. Alright. Opponent with a blue cave. Yeah, Sunken Citadel. Alright. Well, let's play another Restless Spire to the board. So if this is caves, this is going to be kind of slow. Bad news is Cosmium Confluence kind of ruins our day on the, at least on the enchantment angle. Wait a minute. This is slightly different. All right, let's keep playing our lands and just passing this on back. Nice thing about C double is it lets us kind of steal whatever our opponent's trying to do if we don't have a way to deal with it on our own. Land number 5 from us. Let's pass. Kind of want to use Teferi. Opponent's got a Virtue of Loyalty token. Where was I? Kind of want to use Teferi to draw some cards. Help us get back into this if we need to spend our resources dealing with the board, but we could also be in kind of a control matchup. So no sense rushing into anything. Yeah, not going to attack with the Spires. If they've got removal for it, which in those colors they might, I don't want to start getting behind on mana, especially when our top end is 6 mana. Well, top end is technically 7, but the important thing's at 6 mana, Arcane Bombardment. If we can stick one of those and keep it around, it can generate enough advantage for us to kind of bypass the control deck's ability to keep up. Let's play a Teferi here, just see what happens. This is likely going to get countered or removed. Dissipate. All right, opponent not wanting things in our graveyard. Passing it on back there. All right, well, I thought this was caves. This is looking more like Esper Control. Opponent playing the Virtue of Loyalty. Well, I've played against a lot of Virtue of Loyalty. The great thing is if you can keep the board clear, Virtue of Loyalty is just kind of bad on its own. Really just needs creatures to go with it. So let's Lightning Strike away this token. And now our opponent really doesn't have anything left on the board for that to pump up. Happy to pass here with 4 mana up for Farsight Ritual. Virtue of Loyalty going off. Yeah, let's try for it. If they want to counter that, that's great. All right, let's take a spell and a dual land. More land off the top. Sure. All right, well, we're at that point. We've got enough untapped lands on board and in hand. We can start firing up a Spire. Let me just check these lands here. You never know. Sometimes the alternate art looks like a creature land. I got to check. Just personally. All right, they've got to go for the throat here for my Spire. Got to let that go, but do still have the 4 mana up for a C double, should we need it. Opponent's got the Siphon Insight for us. All right, well, We could copy it, but it's not a great rate of return for us. We'll just let them go. Hopefully they scoop nothing but lands off the top of my deck. I wish you the worst draws off of that card, opponent. I have had opponents snag some of my best stuff with that card, which is always disheartening. Let's go with a consider here and just see what we can dig into. Opponents spent a little bit of mana here. Alright, we'll take the riddle. Let's go looking some more. This might be a good turn to try to land a bombardment if we can find one. Nope, just a negate and a riddle. Tell you what, let's take the negate. If we do still keep playing our lands to the board, there's a bombardment. Yeah, if we can get up to 8 lands, we can just go for bombardment with negate backup, which would be really excellent. But for now, until we get that land, yep, let's go burn down the house. It's kind of on the fence about it, but let's try to create some devils. Some opponents will try to counter this. And right now we're just trying to get it out of their hand. Nope, opponent has good counterspell discipline. We will attack for 3 with the devils here. Try to drop them to 18. All right. Oh, there's a creature land. Okay. So it kind of blends in with the rest of them. Okay. Opponent goes depopulate here. All right. We get 3 more damage triggers off the devils, dropping our opponent to 15. Virtue goes off again, but yeah, no creatures for those +1/+1 counters. There's an untapped land. Let's try for this bombardment right now. Opponent down to 4 mana, 2 cards in hand, plus 2 mystery cards from us. We've got our negate to protect it. This is probably the best chance we're going to have of landing this card. Okay, opponent tries for the riddle. That was ours. Let's negate the riddle. Opponent's got 2 mana left. We're vulnerable here to make disappear. Oh, and it lands. That feels great. That feels great. Although white does have plenty of ways to get rid of this. Oh no! They stole an Arcane Bombardment. Alright, I don't know how many spells they've been playing over there. There was, what, a depopulate we saw earlier? Well, hopefully it's going to be much more useful for us than it is for them. Let's try to start activating this right now while it's still on the board. Ugh, we pick up a negate. Not useful now, but could be useful later. We know they have some counter spells over there, like a dissipate. Yep, go for the throats down there too. Not going to be as useful for them. Restless Reef, huh? Gets Death Touch and makes people mill cards. Okay. They make us mill. That's not the worst, actually. That gives us some more options with bombardment. And by options, I mean random chances at useful spells. Really have no control over what gets picked up by bombardment unless we want to start wasting card slots on exiling our own graveyard. Let's see here. I always want to try this. Let's copy the creature land. I want to see what this does. It also activates our bombardment, which is our path to victory. Can't just sit here and do nothing. Okay, that's better. We pick up a lightning strike. That is some forward progress. All right. What happened? Okay, so their reef gets the counter. We created a copy of the reef, but it is a land. So it looks like we could pay to make it a creature if we wanted to. Maybe? It's just looking kind of ugly and tokeny now on our side of the board. All right. Well, let's start things off with a play with fire to the face. We get Farsight Ritual. That's pretty good. All right, let's do Lightning Strike. Let's do Ritual. No targets for Negate. Yep, we'll take the 2 spells. That's perfect. Lightning Strike to the face. Play with fire brings them to 4. Put that land on the bottom. Yeah, let's just pass it here. So they got 4 cards in hand. I suppose we could have gone for the attack with the Restless Reef, but they had theirs. I guess they did have theirs untapped. Okay. Opponent uses the adventure side of another Virtue of Loyalty to activate their own bombardment at the end of our turn. Makes a token. They pick up a Dissipate. So I suppose they could fight our Negate that's sitting under our bombardment. Opponent activates their Reef. Okay, that's good. Uses up a little bit of their mana. Gonna mill some cards from us. That's not the worst thing in the world. Kind of increases our chances of pulling up some burn there. Let's go C double. Let's make a copy of... Yeah, give me some more lands. We're just trying to activate bombardment here. And you're not giving me many good targets. All right, we've got 1 Lightning Strike. Fading Hope, let's do that on the token. Farsight, let's take a look at the top of our deck. So now, if they've got a spell to cast, let's take Ovika and... Might as well take the spell in big score. If they've got a spell to cast, they could... Ooh, Chandra, yes, you can stay on top. They go to 1. Must not have any instance. They could have dissipated the Lightning Strike, even though it's a copy from Bombardment. Can still counter that stuff. All right, we dropped a 5 from the Reef attack. Loyalty is going to put a counter on that. That's big score. Gives us a little more mana to play with if we want to try for an Ovika finish here. All right. All right. Well, we've got burn under there. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand and a little bit of mana to play with. Let's try for a Chandra. Chandra gets through. All right. I was worried they were going to try to activate their bombardment and get in a little dissipate battle. See if they've got any emergency life gain. Let's go for the Chandra ability. Let's just say 4, just in case. Looks like they got something. Sheoldred's Edict. That activates bombardment. It's going to cause us to sack Chandra, but the trigger's still on the stack. There's Dissipate, but I think you may be meant to do that earlier. Well, let's see. All right. Well, ours hasn't activated yet. Let's go big score. Chandra's going to copy that before she gets sacrificed. Oh, opponent with the Reef activation. Is that surrender? Let's resolve bombardment. See what we got. Yeah, there's the Lightning Strike under there. Let's point that at the opponent. Gonna do these just in case they're holding on to something. An offer you can't refuse. I don't know what they might have that could help at this point. Play it out the proper way. And yep, all right. Opponent scoops it up there. Good game.